Now we are going to move on to Rapair Medical Devices and Gerard Chris.
Imagine, you have been chosen. You are going to Mars. The years of dedication and hard work have finally paid off. You launch into space with your fellow astronauts, full of excitement, trepidation, and pride. Then, a month into your mission, you fall and suffer a bad cut. You search in vain for a simple, painless solution to heal your wound, but in the end, the rest of the crew hold you down while one of them staples your wound shut. The next day, your captain pulls out the staples and replaces them with stitches. Local anesthetic is not an option, and tissue glue is definitely not a good idea in zero gravity. Your wound is painful. It will take weeks to heal, and you will likely be left with a bad scar.
But what if we could heal wounds in days rather than weeks, without stitches, staples or glue, and with minimal scar?
Hi, I'm Gerard Chris, CEO of Rapair Medical Devices, based in the beautiful Northern Rivers of New South Wales, Australia. I work with a team of award-winning postdoctoral researchers and medical doctors with over 25 years of clinical experience, and we have developed technology to rapidly repair damaged skin. In fact, in a human clinical trial of excision wounds, we were able to remove stitches within 24 hours. Normally, these stitches would need to stay in for at least 10 to 14 days. Our rapid repair wound dressing is a giant leap in wound care. In this presentation, we will outline the advantages of rapid repair over traditional and modern wound closure methods and explain why it works so well. You will also hear the story behind the invention of rapid repair and learn how rapid repair will revolutionise wound healing for all the inhabitants of Earth and beyond.
Wound repair hasn't changed much since the Egyptians started stitching wounds together over 3,500 years ago. Current methods, including stitches, staples and glues, follow the same ancient principle of simply holding the edges of the wound together until the wound heals itself.
These methods are painful and traumatic, as I'm sure many of you know. They require training and skill to apply. The wounds take weeks to heal, and 10% of patients are left with a bad scar that can impact mobility and have lifelong effects upon their physical and mental well-being. The rapid repair wound dressing is a major innovation. It is easy and painless to apply. No local anesthetic is required. It can be used instead of stitches, staples and glues. It is lightweight, non-invasive, non-toxic, and has a shelf life of over 10 years.
More recent innovations in wound care aim at improving the actions of cells within damaged tissue.
Our technology is different, as it works on a much smaller scale by targeting the alignment of molecules between the cells.
Skin has three main layers. The outside layer is the epidermis. Below that is the dermis, and below the dermis is subcutaneous fat. The dermis consists primarily of the extracellular matrix, made up of collagen, proteoglycans, and other molecules. In healthy skin, new collagen and proteoglycan molecules align and attach to the existing matrix. When skin is damaged, the extracellular matrix is disrupted, and the collagen and other molecules flowing into the wound are unable to align properly. Over 4,000 collagen molecules need to align and connect with each other to bridge a 1 millimetre gap.
Rapid repair aims to imitate some of the nanoscale physical properties of intact skin. The rapid repair wound dressing projects a fine virtual scaffold into damaged skin so that the molecules flowing into the wound can align as they would in undamaged skin. This dramatically reduces healing times and produces a minimal scar.
We conducted a human clinical trial on excision wounds where a skin cancer or lesion had been surgically removed. These wounds were closed using conventional stitches. Half the wound was treated with rapid repair and the other half with a control. We were able to remove stitches from the treated side within 1 day without the wounds reopening. Normally, these stitches would need to stay in for at least 10 to 14 days.
A panel of 17 clinicians, including surgeons, primary care physicians and dermatologists, reviewed photos from our clinical trial. These clinicians knew nothing about our research and were simply asked to estimate the age of the wounds based on their experience. They estimated the age of the 1-day-old wounds treated with rapid repair as more than 8 days old. Here is another image of a wound from our clinical trial, taken a year after treatment. The left side of the wound was treated with the control dressing. The right side was treated with rapid repair. You can clearly see the difference in scar outcomes.
Hi, I'm Dr. Nedeljka Rosic, co-founder and Chief Science Officer for Rapair Medical Devices. I am an experienced postdoctoral biomedical scientist responsible for designing and coordinating our clinical research. We are currently conducting clinical trials with a team of researchers from the University of Queensland and Southern Cross University to validate our previous findings and quantify the increased healing rates generated by rapid repair. Additional clinical trials are planned for early 2021, and these trials will include using our dressing instead of stitches for children presenting to hospital emergency rooms with accidental lacerations. And also will use our dressing to close surgical incision wounds in operating rooms.
Rapid repair was developed by Dr. Rosemary Craig, who spent decades working in hospitals and clinics treating a range of accidental and surgical wounds.
I found that often the pain and trauma of wound treatment was as bad, if not worse, than the original trauma of the wound. This was particularly true in children who often had to be restrained by a parent while local anesthetic was administered and the wound stitched closed. There had to be a better way. After many years of research into how the body heals, I identified the bottlenecks in wound healing and how to potentially overcome them. This led to the creation of the first rapid repair prototype. Shortly after, I suffered a full thickness cut to my face. With no other doctors immediately available, I decided to apply the prototype to my own wound, and it worked. Having personally experienced the therapeutic benefits of this dressing, I commenced clinical trials to demonstrate the efficacy of this technology. This research was recognised by the Australian Government's Peak Research Institution, the CSIRO, who have worked with me and my team to commercialise this technology and make rapid repair the gold standard in wound repair on Earth and beyond.
The global wound care market is currently worth around $20 billion with an annual growth rate of over 6%. The largest market is the US, accounting for 35% of all global sales. The fastest growing market is the Asia-Pacific region, with over 8% annual growth. Surgical wounds are the largest market segment, accounting for around 50% of the global wound care market. In addition, the veterinary wound care market is worth more than $1 billion, with an annual growth rate of 7.4%.
Our early adopters include plastic surgeons and dermatologists interested in minimising scars and producing the best possible cosmetic outcomes for their patients. Equine vets are also keen to use our dressing to rapidly repair leg wounds in horses that currently can take up to a year to heal before the horse can return to training.
Our target markets include the treatment of accidental lacerations in hospital emergency rooms and closing surgical wounds in operating rooms. Penetration of these markets will reduce waiting times for patients, reduce the time, material and costs for clinicians treating wounds, and minimise scarring and the risk of infection, leading to further savings within our health systems. The initial form of the rapid repair wound dressing is a Class 1 medical device designed to sit over surgical tape or a similar thin dressing. Rapid repair has been entered on the Australian Register of Therapeutic Goods as a medical device and can be used by doctors throughout Australia. It also meets the Australian regulatory requirements for use on animals. Our current clinical trials have been specifically designed to meet the FDA requirements for registration of our wound dressing in the US market. These trials will be completed by the end of this year. We are also registering this device with regulatory bodies in Europe and Asia.
To register a medical device in most global markets, you need to specify the Global Medical Device Nomenclature Code, or GMDN code. This identifies the type of medical device to be registered. The rapid repair wound dressing is so unique that the GMDN agency had to issue a new GMDN code for our dressing, as no similar medical device had previously been registered anywhere in the world.
We are a self-funded startup with initial sales scheduled for the end of this year. We have received non-diluting grant funding from the Australian Government through the CSIRO ON program. We have partnered with Rapair Engineering, a medical device manufacturer in Sydney, to develop full-scale commercial manufacturing of our product. Rapair currently manufactures medical devices sold in the US and is registered as a medical device manufacturer with the FDA. Additional Australian Government accelerated commercialisation grants will provide dollar-for-dollar funding to meet the setup costs associated with large-scale manufacturing.
Our first major customer is a network of skin cancer clinics throughout Australia, keen to improve healing and minimise scarring for their patients.
We are currently in negotiations with a major distributor of medical devices throughout Asia and the Middle East. We have also started initial discussions with 2 of the top 3 market leaders in the global wound care market. Our plan is to sell our initial product directly to early adopters within the Australian domestic market. This initial revenue will be used to complete the clinical trials in our key target markets of hospital emergency rooms and operating rooms. The combined strength of our clinical evidence, together with our domestic market traction, will be used to negotiate licensing and distribution deals with large international manufacturers and distributors. The proceeds from these licensing deals will be used to develop the next generation of our wound dressing and also enable the development of new products for the rapid repair of tendons and ligaments using the same underlying patented technology. These new products will be commercialised using the same strategy of gathering clinical evidence to open up additional markets and attract international partners.
We believe our groundbreaking wound healing technology would be ideal for space missions, as our lightweight dressing would not only reduce healing times and improve scars, but also reduce the need to carry needles, stitches, anesthetics and other dressings currently needed to treat wounds. Our dressing is designed to be safe and effective in micro and zero-gravity environments. Our dressing's long shelf life would ensure our interplanetary explorers can be healed throughout the entire length of their mission to Mars and back.
We are keen to talk with strategic partners who can help bring the rapid repair wound dressing into the US market. In particular, we are looking for potential licensees and distributors in both the human and veterinary markets. We are also interested in discussing the benefits of our product for Defence Force personnel. If you are interested, please contact us via email, our website, or via social media. Rapid Repair is a unique product that will revolutionise wound care by increasing the rate of healing while decreasing scarring and the risk of infection. Our dressing can be used across a wide range of applications for both humans and animals. From humble beginnings in a small rural Australian town, the Rapid Repair wound dressing has the potential to help humanity safely navigate a path to other worlds. and home again to Earth. Let's bring on a future with faster, better healing. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Let's open up questions, please. Ramona.
Hi there. Great information on surgical wounds, other cuts and such. I'd like to understand, could this technology be adapted to work with burns, radiation types of impacts, regular thermal burns, diabetic sores, things like that as well?
At the moment, our wound dressing is working in cuts because it's a narrow gap. So we are developing another version of our dressing to work over a wider zone, such as what happens in a burn or an ulcer.
Oh, okay, great, wonderful for that kind of variety. From a market perspective, the thought crossed my mind, no personal interest, of course. What about wrinkles? Is it something that could actually benefit because of the scaffolding nature, working with the collagen and such? Could it help with that?
Yes, Ramona, our patent also covers cosmetic uses of the technology as well. So, yeah, we have looked at, and for sun damaged skin as well.
Wonderful. Thank you.
All right, John Carr.
Hey, Robin, I think it was up from the last time. But actually, I will ask a question. Okay, so how large of a wound can this be applied to, just with respect to depth, length, width?
Yeah. Our material is coming in a half-metre strip, so we could theoretically treat a wound that's 1/2 metre long. And as far as the depth goes, our wound treatment is going through the full thickness of the skin. It's not aiming to address the tissues underneath.
Yeah, Rich Godwin here. That was one of my questions. Was this appears to be? I mean, I think it's an amazing technology. I think it's potentially got a huge market. It's cosmetic and infection reduction. So from the cosmetic side of things, absolutely, there's a lot of people would use that, especially in elective surgeries. You answered the question just now. I was wondering about like subcutaneous stitches and things like that into muscle. Obviously, it's not going to have any impact, but I did notice that you had talking about ligaments and things using the same kind of technology. Could you explain a little bit more about how this technology might work in deeper wounds or more like traumatic wounds, like say in a military theatre?
So with the deeper wounds, there's the issue of penetrating into the skin a bigger distance, but also essentially we're sculpting the connective tissue repair. So we're fine-tuning our further developments so that we can sculpt the tissues in different directions. So an easy one would be, say, the Achilles tendon, which is a tendon at the back of your ankle. Because it's large, it's close to the skin, and it's clear what direction the tendon fibres should be going in. A more difficult one might be the cruciate ligament in the knee, which is a cross shape, and it's more complicated to penetrate in the right direction for that joint.
And if I could just add regarding this question, definitely clinical trials will be needed to provide evidence for each claim. So we need to go, sequentially, I always say one by one, and claiming things with the individual evidence in terms of clinical trials. So that strength is then there for the customers.
All right, Harry.
You said it's a scaffold, but then when you showed examples of it, you're putting it on, you're putting down a layer of tape and then your example. How does the scaffolding work over the tape?
Okay. Without giving too much of the special sauce away, basically there are structures in our dressing that mimic or are similar to the extracellular matrix. And by using elements that amplify the electrochemical signature of that structure, we can project that through the thin dressing into the wound so that the molecules align as if the extracellular matrix is still in place.
Okay, there we go. Are you using like porcine for the extracellular matrix that's creating that scaffolding? We've seen that with like core matrix. There's been quite a few products that have been coming to market as of late using porcine for the extracellular matrix. I'm just interested in what you're actually using.
No, we don't use any animal product. It's in a silicon base, but it's more metallic.
And the difference is we're creating a virtual scaffold where I think particularly the product you're talking about is a physical scaffold that would actually go into a burn or an ulcer.
Okay,
We're using the body's own molecules to actually heal.
Got it. And then what do you actually have? I mean, do you actually have patents? I don't remember seeing that in the video. And if you do, what are your actual patents for?
The patents are our patents are in early stage. We've just entered PCT last month. That was a deliberate strategy to make sure we were ready to go to market and we could maximize the age or the length of the patent. It's very broad. It covers like all connective tissues, the use of this technology, and it covers the device and also the method of use.
Okay, understand. Thank you.
Another quick question, Robin. You said that they created a new type of coding number in Australia because they've not seen anything like your product before. Where are you 10x better than your competition? I mean, I don't know who your competition is, quite frankly, but do you feel that your technology in what you're good at, where's the 10x better than the competition?
Okay, first of all, the GMDN code, that's actually administered out of Europe and is an international coding system, not just for Australia. So that would also include the FDA and the EC mark in Europe. In regards to the 10x, why are we 10 times better? We could basically say that just purely on the healing rate. The idea that stitches that would normally stay in for 10 days, we've been able to successfully remove within 1 day.
Yeah, so if I could just add here, so it is technology that allows faster, better healing and less scarring. So in that way, when you compare it to traditional methods, you have such improved outcomes, which is therefore, of course, of interest to common population. I'm looking from scientific point of view, trying to see what we could develop, in science field that could help people. And this is one of these products and examples to be used for sure, for benefits of all.
Does your product, there's several health groups we all know have problems with wound healing, most prevalent probably diabetes. Would you say that your product has an outsized effect on that, or it's less effective for people that have wound healing problems?
In the pilot study, we tested patients who had diabetes and other circulation conditions, and we found our dressing to be as effective in that situation as it was with other people.
Thank you.
If there's time, I have one.
Sure. Who's
So
that?
I'm very intrigued with this product, very spectacular to me. I'm wondering, and I really like the idea, actually personally, that you could heal the tendons and ligaments. But I'm wondering, have you considered that you could use this to heal organs or other internal things eventually? And I can understand the complication, although I'm not anything close to a medical person, the complications of having things internal in the organs. But as we go deeper in space and we had to do procedures on humans internally, that's where I think it would be a real big win too.
I find this science really exciting because there is so much scope to control what happens at an extracellular matrix. Mm-hmm. And personally, I see the potential in being with 3D printing an organ because if you could control how you're printing the new matrix and embed the stem cells, then it enables a good functional organ to be generated so much quicker than what is currently happening with trying to grow something from stem cells. That's why there's a limit with growing to a certain size with the new organ before they essentially can't grow it anymore.
Brilliant thinking. I love it. Keep it up. Can't wait to talk to you in the impact table tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
We have time for one more question.
Hi, I have a question. David Jones with DePaulo Ventures. I like the things you talked about with regard to advantages to space missions. Are there any reasons or reasons to doubt where this would work in zero-G versus on Earth?
No, given the way the technology works, we see no limitations using it in zero and microgravity environments.
Thanks.
But with that, as a scientist though, David, the proof of the pudding will be when we actually put it up in space. But from the science perspective, there shouldn't be an issue.
Gerald, this is Kurt Saxter. Very quick comment. I think the size scales of the mechanism of your approach are very small, and therefore the gravitational effects would be very small. I think that's the sort of science-y answer to that question.
We need to test it. I'm always back up with a clinical trial. So yeah, let's do it together.
All right, thank you. Max, back to you.
Yeah, I'm excited about that. That's what the ISS is for, right? Let's put it on something on the ISS and figure, so you got some actual evidence to back it up. And I love that answer too. From the science person, we always need to do testing. That's great. And now, without further ado, I would like to turn it over to John Carr, the Deputy Chief Technologist from the Marshall Space Flight Center, to announce the winners of this year's 2020 Cycle 2 Forum. Aside from Eternal Glory, you will also be receiving one of these, so be checking for it in your mailboxes. John, the floor is yours.
All right. Thanks, Max. Yes. Hello, everybody. My name is Dr. John Carr. As Max said, I'm the Deputy Chief Technologist out at the Marshall Space Flight Center in Huntsville, Alabama. So certainly I'm proud to be here representing the NASA CTC, the Chief Technologist Council, as well as the amazing and diverse set of iTech judges that we have. And it's my honor to announce the winners here on the Cycle 2 competition. So I wanted to say all 10 technologies that we saw throughout the last 2 days were, again, some of the most innovative that we've seen. So thank you all to the innovators, to your teams, for bringing forward your companies to iTech. And thanks for making it extremely difficult on all of us on the judging panel. We hope that win or lose, the exposure that you receive here, the relationships that you've built over the last couple of days prove worthwhile for you all as well as for us in accomplishing our mission. So again, thank you. All right, so let's dive in. 3 winners to announce here in no particular order. Let's start with the first one. The first one to announce is Rapair Medical Devices for their rapid repair. Okay, they are an X-Factor innovation, and rapid repair is a revolutionary wound dressing that heals wounds in days rather than weeks. This is without stitches, staples, or glue, and with minimal scarring. So, we felt this tech, it really has the advantage of intuition, right? We've all had stitches, staples, scars. We've all had children or others in our lives that have had stitches, staples, scars. And we know what it's like to go through it. And so no doubt I know in my life that I would like a technology as such that heals faster and heals better. And pushing into space, it's easy to envision as NASA builds our sustainable architecture on the lunar surface and deeper into space, it's technologies such as rapid repair that are going to enable better health management and better safety for our astronauts, 240,000 miles out and beyond, away from our hospitals here on Earth. So congratulations to Rapair Medical Devices.
Okay, first of all, a big thank you to the NASA iTech team for giving all of us this opportunity to pitch our ideas to such a wonderful audience. Thanks to Max and Hala. Thanks to Robin and David for being so patient with us. Thanks to Tom and Jen and Ali for all their advice and guidance on shaping the presentations. And also thanks to Kira, because I'm sure you're watching. Thanks, of course, to the judges. This could not have been an easy decision. Thanks to all the other teams. As the others have said, great technology, and I can't wait to see where you all go with your ideas. Thanks to our family and friends for their support. Space Services Australia, building satellite digital twins back here in Oz. They suggested we do this in the first place, so thanks to them. Thanks to the CSIRO for their financial support and their guidance on helping us get this product to commercialization. Thank you to our team, particularly Dr. Nella Rosic, who's joined us on this journey and helps to keep us grounded in the science. And finally, a big thank you to my beautiful wife and partner, Dr. Rosemary Craig, the genius of this invention, and how she has a dream for all of us to have faster, better healing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, and congratulations to all. Oh,
I just said thank you from my end too. Thank you, Jared, for a great talk. And this was a fantastic opportunity to interact with NASA people and all other inventors. So thank you again. And to Southern Cross University for supporting me and also our team for great innovation. So I think we are on the great journey and we are connected with right people. That's the most important, to make at the end impact on the community. That's from my end. Thanks.
thank you so much.